Hey guys, this is May, and before I start this video, I want to tell you guys my little group of listeners, which I'm actually really glad is a small group, only because I've got to keep a low profile with the nature of my work, which, as I said, is a whole video in and of itself. Lots of videos, a whole book, all sorts of things. And so sometimes I do add tidbits about it. So I try to be a little bit incognito, but so that you know that at least that I am a real souled being and I'm not AI, though. I definitely want to get that across. And I am I would say it's been several months that I have been studying, taking courses, mostly under Santos Bonacci, and some other books, some ancient texts. I'm really good at finding ancient texts. Even in New Orleans, I can find them at the bookshops and book fairs, and so I do get them on eBay and stuff too. And a lot of times they're pricey now because they don't want us to have knowledge, right? They don't want us to know things. So there I have some ancient texts on astrology, as well as courses I've been taking, and there's 3 guys that I've been studying under, and one that I have done that has done a PDF for me and sent me illustrations. And so astrology, and I'm going to talk about this just for a second, then I'm going to get into what the subject of this video is. And I'm going to talk fast because I know we all have very short attention spans with our ADD and our easily distractible computer-like minds, right? So I'm going to stick to the subject in just a second. I'm going to get to that. But I did want to tell you guys that I am doing astrology. I don't really like the word readings because then it implies like it sounds like foo-foo. It just, but it is interpretations of charts. And I've been trying to learn it the right way. I wanted to learn astrology, and I did not want to learn it under the Hellenistic models or anything which most astrology is. It's based on the spinning ball, right? Which is really weird because you almost have to separate. You have to. It means that you must use abstract thought to actually think of the zodiac above you, and we know it's a spinning wheel. And I said this in other videos that the wheel keeps spinning and the wheel keeps turning. Don't know where I'll be tomorrow. The wheel in the sky keeps turning. You don't want me to sing. Oh my God, you'd be horrified. The wheel in the sky keeps turning. I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. I used to think that was about like jets because I fly on jets, right? So I used to think, wow, that song is about like flying on planes. No, it's about the wheel in the plane of existence, right? It's about the zodiac wheel. So the wheel in the sky, it turns and it goes clockwise, just like a clock, because we're inside of a clock. Hollywood likes to tell us. There's a recent movie I saw, and literally the woman in the movie, she grabbed the clock from the fireplace mantle, and then she says, I should find that picture. I take a picture of all the evidence that we're inside of a clock, and that the zodiac is in every Hollywood movie. The zodiac, and you'll always see arches, which are symbolic of portals, and the waveforms of the luminaries. So anyway, so she says, we're inside of a clock. No one would look in there. Or this is inside of a clock. No one will look in there. Yeah, because that's where we are. We're in Chronos. We're in the age of Chronos, Saturn's realm, which is a frequency, which is just a construct. It's a frequency. So anyway, so the zodiac, right? So I was like, I'm fascinated by astrology and what's going on in the sky above us, because it's directly correlated with the coordinates and the designs and the angles, not angels. They are angles. Okay, they are squares, they are trines, they are squaring off with each other. There's trines, there's the sextiles. So there's several different. There's opposition. There's 90 degrees. It's a real geometry, and even round earthers, obviously, they use that system. But I did not want, and I wanted to get some readings from. I wanted to get a reading from someone, an astrologer. And this was probably 8 months ago. but I did not want one that thinks that we're on a spinning ball. There's a lack of astrologers, though, out there who realize that this is a plane of existence. So I decided to research high and low, and so that is what I am studying. Santos Bonacci is one who obviously knows the truth, and he teaches the truth, and it's an ancient truth. And any heliocentric baller doing astrology, not that it wouldn't be accurate, a good portion of it would be, but there's some things that I'm learning, some subtleties that you can't find with the and I didn't want an astrologer who's thinking that we're on a spinning ball and who is doing my chart or reading my chart and who's thinking that any of these frequencies and waveforms are something like CGI, like NASA would show us, which we know is Hollywood. And have I met some of those guys over the years? Of course. Do I believe anything they say? Absolutely not. So I know what the agenda is. So anyway, I didn't want someone who is even well-intentioned, who took many courses. There are some schools, but they promote the heliocentric model, and I just don't want an astrologer that who thinks that way. So I have been learning the last few months, and I've been doing charts for family members, and friends, and I've been studying. I guess I've read at least 7 texts, and I have notebooks. I like to write everything down. And so my background is actually in literature and English. I mean, my university degree. I have some master's courses on linguistics and etymology. And so, believe it or not, language can be like a math. Language is the alphabet, the symbols. It's algebra, right? Algebra is a language and numeric type of system. So I wanted to learn the right way, just like you would learn a language. But I refused to do it with an instructor who believes you're on a spinning ball. So, and that I would say is the majority. So, getting back, this is the subject. I talked about this, this is the intro, and it has nothing to do with the subject. And I just am letting you know that I am working on that, and I have a website in the making. And I'm going to do interpretations for people who know that we're not on a spinning ball, but they want to know about themselves. They want to know about their angles, not angels. What would happen the moment they were born? Their chart, what does it mean? What the script? You can find out that pretty much everything in your existence is scripted, and it's very evident in the chart. So I've been learning that, and I'm going to stop talking about that. And the thing is what's my perspective is interesting is because I have been on a plane flight attendant, and now my astrology, which I spell with an A because astro implies that it's outside of Earth's atmosphere, and there's not anything. We're in a contained field, the firmament. So anyway, having said that, and the luminaries are waveforms. They're a type of wave. Do you know what I mean? And they have different. There's malefic and there's benefic, and like Mars is malefic, Saturn is malefic, and I've learned a ton of stuff, so much that sometimes my brain hurts, and I love that. That's one of the great things about flying, not just flying the elite and private jet flying, but because I wouldn't work in commercial. You couldn't pay me $1 million to work on a commercial jet and deal with 100 people and do a cart, and so I never did that. So it's been a very interesting life, and it's granted me the opportunity to educate myself, uneducate myself, and re-educate myself, because you do get some downtime in airports and on planes, and like I'm not one. I need a lot of stimulation with my brain and reading, and I'm not one. I can watch a Netflix movie and stuff, but I can't on a repeat. I just can't. It's too dumb. So anyway, Okay, so this video, like, is she ever going to say the topic of this video, for the love of God? Yes, is on justice. Now, so I get these downloads, these messages, and so justice, just ICE. Have you ever had to deal with a legal entity? You probably have. You've had to have a lawyer, or you were sued, or you wanted to sue someone. You've been in this situation, maybe a ticket. Okay, two words I want to talk about just for a moment are POL, police, and justice. ICE. Okay, the reason why I think ICE is an interesting word is because Polaris, okay, is the North Star, and a lot of our system, this projected place that we're in, is connected to Polaris. There's a video that a Freemason did showing that Polaris was the projector, actually, if you think about like a movie set. So it was, he showed a disc, and that Polaris is how the light is coming here from the North Star, and bouncing. The moon gets its light from Polaris. That's okay. Let's just stick to ICE. Okay, ICE. North Pole is another one, you could say, because we know how we can't go, right? We can't go past the poles. You can't go exploring. So ICE, just ICE. So when I think about this, it shows me, just ICE shows me the judge. He wears a robe. He wears a black robe. There's the bench. You stand behind it's like a fortress, like a gate, and they're in control, right? They're in control. Your name is in all capital letters. You are not, you're a legal entity. You're not a real human. You're not, you know what I mean? You're your character. And the thing is it's never in our favor. It's because they are Saturnian. They wear the robes as they sacrifice. There's an altar, in a way similar to a church. How you go up there's steps. A lot of times they sit high up, and they will often, you will hear of stories coming out of the legal world, the justice system, that you're like, that's not justice. It happens all the time. So what's the point? What I'm trying to say here is just ICE. The real meaning behind this term is that ICE controls the system. And you're like, what is she talking about? Yes, ICE. So we always think of, if you look in religious texts, right, heaven and hell. Hell is hot. No. It's ice. It's cold. So Saturn comes from a very cold. Saturn is cold. So 30. What's above 32 degrees? You got 33. Who loves their 33s and up? We know who. Who runs that whole system? We're just going to say the FMs, right? I don't know. I guess I can say that on here, the Freemasons. So they run the whole judicial system. They always do. It's Saturnian, and they are not in the favor of the human, right? They cohort together. They operate together as a system which is designed really of us against them. And I'm not saying that nobody who has good intentions can ever get off, or they're innocent and they're deemed innocent. I'm not saying that. But I'm going to tell you the whole system is not designed in our favor. And it's because ICE, like as in, ISIS, ICE controls it. Okay? Remember the song, what was the song? Ice, Vanilla Ice used to sing, too cold, ice, too cold. Now there's the immigration thing, and that's also called ICE. That is not ironic. It is not an accident. It's because the hellish system of justice is just ICE. They're the ones who control all of it. And how does anyone not notice these black robes, the symbols? let's look at the symbol, the Libra. Okay, Libra is the first house of the underworld, and it is where Saturn exalts. He doesn't rule Libra, Venus does. But Venus is water, but she's also cold. Okay, so Libra, the first house, when you look at the wheel, the zodiac wheel, okay, is it's Libra and it's Saturnian, and that symbol, which I will put here, is a symbol of justice. That's because it's the first zodiac house going into the underworld. It's the first house. Of course, then you've got Scorpio, equally detrimental, equally like negative, Scorpios, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. It's all Saturn's. Saturn is if you don't know that Saturn is the king of the underworld, the king of darkness, what are we in right now? We're in dark. We're in winter. It's ice. That's what hell is. And that is who runs our system. Whether it's government, whether it's justice, the symbols are everywhere. They're everywhere. So I had my own experience, and I won't say too much on that. The whole thing was ridiculous. And I don't. Well, I will just say that someone stole my inheritance. It was a townhouse that belonged to my father, and it's a long story, and I'm not going to get into that. But let's just say it was my only real experience with the justice system, ICE system, and I learned pretty quickly how they don't work for us. And you ever notice how it's kind of like politicians, like lawyers? They definitely stick together, and they will come out of every courtroom friends. They'll shake hands, they're best buddies, they'll have happy hour together, because they're all on the same side. They're on the same side, and that side is against us. I do not have any legal stuff going on right now. I just know by the way that I can interpret letters and language, and it's so obvious to me. It's just so obvious. The bench, the court, right? We play ball on a court, and we're on the other side of the court. All the terminology, and there you go. So it's just another layer of the underworld, and them showing us that they control. They pull ice and just ice. They're in control, right? And a lot of them have a real issue with this authority and stuff. I don't have a ton of personal experience, although I will say this. I'll add this note. I was arrested a few years ago for I had a white Persian cat with blue eyes, and his name was Oliver. He's so beautiful, and they gave him a lion cut, and I didn't approve it, and I was very upset. And Oliver was very aware of his vanity, and he liked to look good. And this is not being ridiculous, but really, he knew that he looked ridiculous. He looked absurd, and everybody was laughing at him. So, long story short, I got really upset, and I said, I didn't ask for this haircut, and my cat looks ridiculous. So I left because I refused to pay, and it was on video that I grabbed my cat and I left. 3 years later, I was arrested for not paying that $43 bill, and I was in jail for maybe, my husband, of course, he was like, get her out of there. And it was funny because I was in a fur coat and it was like it was very novel. The whole thing was very novel because the gangster girls in there were like, well, who do you think you are? And they were like, what do you, and I said that I was probably not a good idea. I said I was a private jet flight. Said, oh, you fancy. So anyway, I had a mug shot and everything. It was an experience, that's for sure. And I was like, I don't get my ass beat. So I just, I was nice and played along. But I realize, I mean, that was my only other experience. It's very limited on these experiences, but what I can say, because I haven't been in trouble, and all I can say, though, from an objective point of view and someone who understands language, is that's what it means. Okay, it means the controllers, the just ice and the polite. That's the controllers, and don't ever feel bad if you're pulled into one of these situations, because it's supposed to be that way. The system is designed to be that way, to not be on our side. And Jordan Maxwell did. I have one of his books, talks about all the legal terminology. A lot of people do, straw man and all that stuff, right? So you can research and you can see all the legal terms aren't in our favor. But one of the biggest ones to me is the very word justice itself, just ice, and pole ice. What's up with this ice? Well, that's what it means. I'm positive. I'm absolutely 100% positive that it's the ice and it's the hellish system who runs this simulation, this holographic construct in which we reside. And I'll stop there, and I want to say thank you guys for listening. I have a whole notebook full of more thoughts and words and philosophies, and until the next time, have a good night.